to my channel. And first of all, before beginning our session on international relations PT365 Unit 2, I would like to uh, reiterate that we are right now in a state of war. So please have faith in the Indian Armed Forces, in the Indian government, and don't fall into prey. Don't fall prey into all these fake news or such propaganda which might spread. And uh, the Indian government and the Indian armed forces are valiantly and very effectively managing the whole situation. Please trust them and please stay united. Please stay focused. Uh, be safe. Be good. That's it. Anyways, the places and news first is the conflict afflicted areas. First of them is the Nagorno-Karabakh region, which is also a PYQ. So it is basically a landlocked mountainous region a landlocked mountain region in the state of Azerbaijan. So the people over here, some of the separatists were afflicted towards Armenia, so it is now captured back from them and it has been recognized as a territory of Azerbaijan. This is Nagorno-Karabakh. It was in news because of the Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Then in Ukraine, there was Snake Island, which is also known as the Zimny Island, located in the Black Sea. This was in news. So Ukraine has also been in news for from February 2022. The war has been going on, and it has been more than 3 years now. The war between Russia and Ukraine. So the land borders of Ukraine are basically Belarus, Russia, of course, obviously. Then this is Poland, Romania, Moldova, Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland West. So the water bodies surrounding it or towards the south of Ukraine are first is the Black Sea and then the Sea of Azov over here, located to the south of Ukraine. This region is Crimea, which was annexed by Russia in 2014, and after its annexation, it was actually suspended from the membership of the G8 nations, as we read earlier. Now there are currently G7 nations only. So this Kherson was also in news. It has been annexed by Russia, and there were some contentions over it. Moving towards the Nord Stream. So the Nord Stream is in the Baltic Sea, and it is basically for supplying methane or for supplying like natural gas from Russia to Germany. So like supplying of the natural gas from Russia to Germany, and there have been studies that thousands of tons of methane may have dissolved in the Baltic Sea after explosions damaged the Nord Stream pipeline. So this region is very volatile because of the situations right now. Then moving over towards the Kursk region. The Kursk region is located in Russia. It has declared an emergency. Russia has declared an emergency in the Kursk region. It is situated in the eastern European plain bordering Ukraine. So the armed militants launched an attack in the Russian Southern Republic of Dagestan also. So there has been an armed militancy conflict in the region of Dagestan. So the Dnieper and the Don rivers are also mentioned. So we need to remember that these all have their basins in Russia as well. Then Lebanon. So one of the regions which was in conflict near to the Mediterranean Sea. So it shares its border with the Mediterranean Sea. Like the sea border is with the Mediterranean Sea. Then it was new because of Hezbollah, an organization which has been said as which is deploying more troops and against the it is working basically against the Israel, and Israel has intensified its offensive against Hezbollah by deploying more troops along South Lebanon in order to counter the Hezbollah attacks. Hezbollah is one of the terrorist groups basically. Then the about Israel, the capital is Beirut, and towards the south we have it shares its borders with Israel. Then there is Syria at the west. It has its maritime boundary with Cyprus Islands. Then moving towards the Baltic Sea. So in the Baltic Sea, this was news because the Russian Su-24 bomber breached the Swedish airspace near the strategically vital Baltic Sea island of Gotland. So the island of Gotland was in news because the Russian bomber has actually uh, breached the Swedish airspace. The Baltic Sea is an arm of the North Atlantic Ocean connected to it through the Danish Straits. Then it is the world's largest inland brackish sea water with low salinity due to the influx of the river waters. It contains the Nord Stream, as we've seen, which connects Russia and Germany for the natural gas. So this is the Baltic Sea. The countries located in its periphery are Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. Then this portion of Russia. This portion of Russia. In Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. And moving towards Turkey, Turkey has actually shown what relations it has with the developing countries and especially India because it is now supporting Pakistan in this state of war. That is truly unacceptable. So, moving towards the issues over here, Turkey launched strikes targeting Kurdish militants in Iraq and Syria. So it itself is targeting the Turkish groups, claiming them to be spreading separatism. But the country itself is supporting the terrorists in Pakistan. So much of hypocrisy from Turkey's end. Anyways, the capital we need to remember is not Istanbul, it's Ankara. Turkey is both in Asia and Europe. So this part Turkey. This part basically is in Europe. This part is in uh, Asia. This water body right here, which separates the European part of Turkey as well as the Asian part of Turkey, is the Sea of Marmara. So this was about it. The smaller northwestern part, including the city of Istanbul, is over here. Is in southern Europe. This region is known as the Eastern Thrace. The larger portion of Turkey is called as Anatolia or Asla Minor and is located in West Asia. So this is Anatolia or Asla Minor. This little strait over here is the Dardanelles Strait. This one is the Bosphorus Strait. Both basically in the Sea of Marmara. So it has launched strikes against the Kurdish militants in Iraq and Syria. The borders of Turkey are Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Greece, and Bulgaria. The water body surrounding it first is the Sea of Marmara, then the Black Sea over here. We also have the Mediterranean Sea, the Aegean Sea, and moving towards the Gulf of Aden. So this you could see is the Arabian Sea. This right here is the Cape of Horn. So the Gulf of Aden is located between Yemen and Somalia and this part of Djibouti, and it connects the Red Sea to the Arabian Sea. So it was in news because of the pirate attacks in the Gulf of Aden. It's a deep water basin that forms a natural sea link between Red Sea and the Arabian Sea, as I told you. Then this Somalia over here in the Arabian Sea, and this, as we've read, is the Gulf of Aden. So the capital of Somalia is Mogadishu. A suicide bombing and gun attack in Mogadishu resulted in death of many civilians. It is situated on the Horn of Africa. It is the easternmost country in the continental Africa. It borders with here Djibouti, then Kenya. The water bodies around it first is the Aden, as we see, and then the Arabian Sea. So moving towards the Abu Musa Island. Abu Musa Island is basically a contentious issue between UAE and Iran. So it's like it's a disputed Abu Musa Island and the other two islands of Greater Tun and Lesser Tun. Iran basically claims them to be his Abu Musa Island, Greater Tun, and Lesser Tun. But there has been contentions, and it is located close to the Strait of Hormuz. Like this is the Strait of Hormuz. This is the Persian Gulf. This is the Gulf of Oman, and it has about a fifth of a vital waterway located through which about fifth of the world's oil passes daily. It has been claimed by both Iran and UAE. Then the Senkaku Islands. This was also a PYQ. So these are located in the East China Sea. So a joint statement by Japan and USA recently opposed any attempt to unilaterally change the status of Senkaku Islands by China. It is also known as DIU, Senkaku or DIU Islands. So this little part is known as the Senkaku DIU Islands. It is in the East China Sea. So we have completed the conflict areas. So the other areas in the news. So this, as you might see, is the Sahel region. There have been some plantation initiatives going on. So this initiative is the Great Green Wall Initiative in order to plant more trees in the Sahel region so that the desert of this region does not expand. Desert of the Sahara does not expand. So like limiting desertification. This was also in news. So this region right here, as we've seen, the Kurdish region between Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. Over here also has some contentions over. So this was also in news because Turkey is now attacking towards the Kurdish militants in Iraq and Syria. So let's go towards it one by one. The southern Thailand for the Patani conflict, Thai government versus Malay Muslim separatists. Then in West Papua is basically trying to free itself from Indonesia. So Indonesia and West Papua. This is West Papua and it is trying to have a free movement in order to separate itself from Indonesia. This territory is of Indonesia and this is Papua New Guinea. Then Mindanao in Philippines was in news. Philippines government versus the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Then Kachin state of Myanmar was also in news. Right over here is the Kachin state. Ethnic conflicts between the Myanmar military and the Kachin Independence Army. Then Sahel region, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, because of the government versus the jihadist groups, ethnic militia. Then Tigray, the European government versus the People Liberation Front, political power struggle mostly. Mozambique, in Mozambique there is Cabo Delgado, government versus ISIS Mozambique, Islamist insurgency. In the Darfur region in Sudan, this over here, the Darfur region in Sudan was also in news. The power struggle basically. Then in the Western Sahara, Morocco versus the Polisario Front. Then in Transnistria, Moldovan government versus the Transnistria separatists, which are Russian backed. And then the Basque is in Spain, movement for liberation, Basque homeland and liberty, Basque independence movement. Then Cyprus, Greek-Turkish divide, Greek Cypriots versus the Turkish Cypriots. Catalonia also in Spain. So Spain we have Basque as well as Catalonia. Spain versus the Catalan independence movement. two independence going on in Spain. First for the Basque country, second for Catalonia. Then Chechnya in Russia. Russian government versus Chechen separatists. South Ossetia and Abkhazia in Georgia. So these are basically Russian backed separatists. Then in Yemen, there's a civil war going on between the Houthi rebels. Houthi rebels are the ones who are like making things difficult in the Red Sea, which is strategic in the international trade. So the Houthi rebels versus the Yemeni government. The Houthi rebels are basically backed by Saudi Arabia. And then the Kurdish-Turkish conflict, as we have seen, which is in Syria and Iraq, and Turkey is actually attacking the Kurdish groups, Turkish security concerns. Then Red Sea and the Houthis, as I told you earlier, the Houthi rebels, Shia militant group primarily based in Yemen versus Saudi Arabia. The then the reason is to control over the Red Sea, as the Bab el Mandab Strait, located at the southern end of the Red Sea, is a critical choke point for global trade. India has launched Operation Sankalp as a measure to assure the safety and security of the Indian vessels. So this right here, this is the Gulf of Aden. This is the Red Sea. The choke point is the Bab el Mandab Strait over here. This is the Bab el Mandab Strait, and India has launched Operation Sankalp, Indian Navy, in order to counter these forces and enhance the security of the Indian vessels. So, some other international developments. First, let's see Israel. In Israel, let's go towards the Golan Heights first. Golan Heights are the ones which were captured or occupied by Israel from Syria. So, over here we have the Jordan River, which emerges and then it actually drains into the Dead Sea. It also passes through the Sea of Galilee. Then the neighbors of Israel are Lebanon, whose capital is Beirut, then Syria, Jordan, this is Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. So over here we also have the West Bank, which is occupied by the Palestinians, and Gaza Strip, where the conflict is going on, also occupied by the Palestinians or the Hamas. Then this crossing basically between Gaza Strip and Israel is the Ares crossing, which was in news. Then the Rafah crossing between Israel and Egypt was in news. This Gaza Strip and uh, Egypt, this Rafah crossing was in news. So moving over here, the capital of Israel is Jerusalem, proclaimed capital, but for like diplomatic capital is Tel Aviv over here. Then Israel has approved the reopening of the Ares crossing to allow the flow of more humanitarian aid into Gaza. So like it has opened this Ares crossing in order to allow the flow of more humanitarian aid. Country in the Middle East, boundaries are Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. So water body surrounding it first is the Mediterranean Sea. Then this right here is the Sea of Galilee. This is the Dead Sea, and this over here is the Gulf of Aqaba, northern tip of the Red Sea. So it also includes Golan Heights, as I told you. So Erase is between Erase is between Israel and the Gaza Strip. So the blue line. The blue line is between Israel and Lebanon. It was made by the UN, and it is called blue line because of the blue barrels kept over there. So, because Israel and Lebanon have no official border separating them except the blue line, it was set up by the UN in 2000. It runs from the Mediterranean to the Golan Heights in the east. So, this right here is the blue line. So, areas around it are in Lebanon, there is Khwar Shoba. In Israel's part, there is Gaza. Then Syria's capital is over here, which is Damascus, which is mentioned over here. not in the blue line. Blue line is basically between Lebanon and Israel. Then in Jordan, Jordan was in news because WHO has declared it as the first country in the world to eliminate leprosy. So leprosy was a disease for which Mother Teresa was working proactively in India. So Jordan has become the first country which has eliminated leprosy. This is Jordan, one of the neighbors of Israel, as I told you. So it has the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea is between Jordan and Israel. The neighbors of Jordan are first is Israel. You need to remember that Jordan is a landlocked country because this is just one small opening which then opens into the Red Sea. But we consider it the water bodies around it are Jordan River, the Red Sea, Dead Sea, Gulf of Aqaba over here, which joins towards the Red Sea. Then Armenia. So, like, if it joins the Gulf of Aqaba, it should not be called as a landlocked. So, my bad. It's not a landlocked country. It has its opening in this Gulf of Aqaba. So, you cannot tell it as a landlocked country. Anyways, just keep that in mind. In Armenia, as we've seen, there was a conflicted region between Armenia and Azerbaijan, which was Nagorno-Karabakh. So Armenia has officially recognized Palestine as a state. The capital of Armenia is Yerevan. The UN GA has also said that has also passed a resolution that Palestine is like eligible in order to apply for the membership of the UNSC. So Armenia basically is a landlocked country in the Trans-Caucasus region, the region just towards the south of the Caucasus Mountains. The borders are uh, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, Iran. In Nagorno-Karabakh, as we have seen. Then this country of Iraq was also in news. Iraq has a little opening in the Persian Gulf. The capital is Baghdad. So we have read about the Baghdad conference also in the previous video. The Baghdad conference was instrumental in the foundation like the OPEC, the oil producing exporting countries. This is why the Baghdad conference was known for. Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. This was news because the UNSC has voted to end the United Nations assistance mission in Iraq, and which was done or established in 2003 following the United States led invasion. The territorial boundaries are with Syria, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, and Kuwait over here. The maritime boundaries it opens in the Persian Gulf. So the UNSC has voted to end the UNAMI, the United Nations Assistance Mission in Iraq. Moving towards the country of Iran, one of the neighbors of Iraq. So this is Iran. You can see two water bodies. Like it opens in two water bodies. First is the Caspian Sea, then the Persian Gulf. This right over here we have read about is the uh, Gulf of Aden, then the Strait of Hormuz. So the Iranian president has unfortunately died in a helicopter crash. This was the context of this news. The land borders are with uh, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, and obviously Iraq. The maritime boundaries and all the maritime borders are with Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, surrounded by two water bodies, Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman. This right here is the Gulf of Oman, not the Gulf of Aden, which I was telling. This is the Gulf of Oman. Gulf of Aden is in the Red Sea. Then the Uzbekistan, Capital of Uzbekistan is the Tashkent. So this right here we have the Aral Sea. The context is the Chief of the Army Staff inaugurated. The Chief of Army Staff of India has inaugurated a high-tech IT laboratory at the Academy of Armed Forces in Uzbekistan. It is a doubly landlocked country in Central Asia. Doubly landlocked, as it means, is that you need to cross two countries in order to reach towards the oceans. So it's a doubly landlocked country. And these are the border countries: Turkmenistan, Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. Then UAE, we've also read about the Abu Musa Islands, which is the contentious issue between Iran and UAE. The famous city of Dubai and Abu Dhabi are of the UAE. It was in news because the UAE has successfully completed the Arab world's first nuclear power plant. So it has been developing at a very exponential rate. The neighbors are Saudi Arabia and Oman. So Arab world's first nuclear plant, and this right here is the Persian Gulf. This is the Gulf of Oman, Strait of Hormuz. So moving towards the Southeast Asia. First we have Thailand. In Thailand, we have read that. Uh, it was Myanmar. We have read the Kachin State controversy. Anyways, in Thailand, the Thailand Senate has approved the bill to legalize same-sex marriages. Thailand has its land boundary with Myanmar, Laos, uh, Cambodia, and Malaysia, right over here. The water bodies around it. First is this Andaman Sea, then the Gulf of Thailand. Then Lao PDR, the capital is Vientiane. So don't confuse it with Vietnam. The capital of Laos is Vientiane. The capital of Cambodia is Phnom Penh. And the capital of Vietnam is Hanoi. So Vientiane is for Laos. Uh, Interestingly, Laos is a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. So the Prime Minister of India and the Lao PDR held bilateral talks on the sidelines of the East Asia Summit. We've read about the East Asia Summit earlier. Then Philippines, the capital is Manila, located on the Pacific Ocean. This right here is the South China Sea, which is a very contentious issue in the international geopolitics scenario. So this is the Sulu Sea. The context is that the Philippines ambassador stated that BrahMos missile offer a credible defense for the Southeast Asian countries. So it has actually applauded the BrahMos missile. Then Mauritius. Mauritius was in news because it has become like India's first overseas Jan Aushadhi Kendra was inaugurated in Mauritius. This island right over here. India's first overseas Jan Aushadhi Kendra was inaugurated in Mauritius. So it is an island nation closer to the Madagascar. The neighboring islands over here first is the Reunion Islands of France. There have been some connections with the Reunion Islands as well. Then there is Seychelles, the Aglada Islands, the Chagos archipelago in Mauritius. So there have been the Chagos archipelago basically is the next issue. So basically the UK has agreed to restore the Chagos to Mauritius, but it will retain the Diego Garcia, which is a very strategic location. The island groups of the Indian Ocean. UK to restore the sovereignty of the Chagos Island to Mauritius. Then Rwanda, which is the uh, famous for the Kigali Amendment. So this was in news because the UK Parliament passed the Safety of Rwanda Asylum Bills, which will give Britain's immigration authorities power to send any asylum seeker entering the UK illegally after January 2022 to Rwanda. It's a landlocked country in Africa. One of the major lakes, which is Lake Kivu, is located here, and its borders are with Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and DRC. And then moving to Togo. The capital is Lome. The context is that India and Togo have recently reviewed their bilateral relations. Togo is a country in Western Africa. So this right over here is the Gulf of Guinea. So the water body surrounding it is the Gulf of Guinea. Then DRC is the first Secretary General meeting between defense ministers of India and DRC was held. This is the largest country in sub-Saharan Africa. It has access to the Atlantic Ocean. So like this is a very little uh, passage. So you can see access to the Atlantic Ocean. This was just one landlocked country we read, which was Uganda over here. Until now, this is Uganda. So moving towards the country Ghana. So Ghana is also in news. Ghana is also in the PYQs last year regarding the cocoa. Uh, like honestly, I ticked that option because I saw an ad when I was a kid about the coffee beans from Ghana, the chocolate beans, all of it. So that's why I ticked it, and it was a fluke, but it turned out to be right. Anyways, so India and Ghana has agreed to strengthen their ties. The trade committee meeting, and the borders of Ghana is in the Atlantic Ocean. So this is also the Gulf of Guinea. Then the land borders are with Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire. This was also one of the options. It's like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, both of them were the options. So cocoa and the cacao. Cocoa is for dark chocolate, and cacao is for coffee beans. Our option was for cocoa. So Ghana chocolates. There was one ad. I just don't remember the brand which it was, but it was like finely selected beans from finely selected cocoa beans from Ghana. That is why I picked it. Anyways, moving towards the country of Mali. So the capital of Mali is Bamako. This was in news because it has banned media from reporting on activities on the political parties. So like uh, they are literally putting a dent on one of the major institutions of democracy, one of the pillars of democracy. So they have banned media from reporting on activities on the political parties. It's a landlocked country in West Africa. Then it's in the Sahel region, transitional zone between the Sahara Desert and the US savannas. Moving on towards Zambia, this is also landlocked. Indian Savannah, India and Zambia have held their sixth session of the Joint Permanent Commission. I don't know, these words kept slipping off. So, in our previous videos about mapping section, we've also read about the Zambezi River, which forms a boundary between Zambia and Zimbabwe. So, the Zambezi River flows through the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. So, these are the bordering countries. Then, Mexico, towards the south of the United States. This is the part where Gulf of California is here. Then this is Gulf of Mexico. If you might have seen my previous videos, the reference about the Breaking Bad and all the context which goes on, somewhat is based in Mexico. So Mexico, we call it Mexico, but the people there call it Mexico. So Mexico became the first country to approve the popular election of judges. Claudia Sheinbaum elected as the first woman president of Mexico. This was also one of the news which I've covered in one of my mapping section videos. So it has become the first country to approve the popular election of judges. So here in India, we have a collegium system in order to appoint the judges. So the president actually appoints the judges of the Supreme Court as well as the High Court. But for the Supreme Court, he has to consult with the collegium of the Supreme Court, whereas for the appointment of the High Court judges, it has to consult the CGI as well as the uh, governor of the state. So we follow different system, but in Mexico, they are currently following. They have approved the popular election of the judges. So its territorial boundaries are with USA, Guatemala, and Belize. So these are the countries of Central America. Then the maritime border boundaries are the Pacific Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, then Bolivia, a country in South America. So Bolivia was in news because it is experiencing economic turmoil due to the dependence on the US dollar, depleting reserves and rising debts. So it has been facing economic uh, turmoil sessions because of being more dependent on the US dollar, because of depletion of its reserves and the rising debts. Venezuela is also one of the countries which is facing economic tensions. So the borders are with Peru, Chile, Paraguay, Brazil. Moving on towards Panama, a city in Central America, a country in Central America. Panama City is in Panama. Then the context is that Panama has become the first nation to evacuate the island community of Gurdi Sagdab Island due to climate change impacts. So the Gurdi Sagdab Island, it is the one which actually connects North and South America. Also, Panama Canal was in news because of the reduction in the water levels. Then this is the Isthmus of Panama, a narrow bridge of land connecting North and South America, right over here. The borders are with Costa Rica and Colombia of South America. Maritime borders, this is Caribbean Sea, this is the North Pacific Sea. Then Trinidad and Tobago, these are the ones which have actually become the Trinidad and Tobago has actually become the first country in Caribbean region to adopt the India's UPI. So this is the island country of Trinidad and Tobago. Moving towards New Zealand, towards the south of Australia. New Zealand has recognized India as the country of honor for the year 2024, and it comprises of two main islands. First is the North Island and South Island, separated by the Cook Strait, Captain Cook. Yep, the Captain Cook Strait over here. So the capital is Wellington. All of these come under the part of Oceania. There are three types of islands, three groups of islands: Polynesia, Micronesia, Melanesia. And this New Caledonian islands of France are also in news. The Fiji Islands were in news, and this great coral reefs. Then moving towards Croatia, a country in Europe. The incumbent Croatian president secured office for the third consecutive time. It comes under the Balkan Peninsula. Peninsula island is surrounded three sides by the seas. Then the Republic of Ireland. This is Ireland, Republic of Ireland. So new Ireland Parliament elects a new Prime Minister. It occupies most of the island west of the Great Britain. This right here is North Sea. Then this over here is the Atlantic Ocean. Here we have the Irish Sea. Moving towards Greece, this you can see is the Aegean Sea, and we have the capital Athens located over here. Greece is facing an alarming population decline. So there was a question last year about the countries which are facing this reduction in the population. There was Italy, Japan. So Japan I mostly take because of reading the book Ikigai. Although in Ikigai there have been mentions about the population, like uh, the aging of the population. So this was one of the questions: the aging of the populations and population decline. So Greece is facing an alarming population decline. It is also the southernmost country of the Balkan Peninsula. The surrounding bodies are Aegean Sea, Ionian Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. The Netherlands, also of Europe, the 12th Indian Netherlands Foreign Office consultations were held in Hague. Hague is also the like the headquarters of ICC and ICJ, Indian Court of Justice, International Court of Justice, and International Criminal Court are located in Netherlands, Hague in Netherlands. So this over here is the Netherlands. This we have read about is the North Sea. So here we read about this. Yep, the North Sea. This is Netherlands. There was a question about asking about the borders of the North Sea. So let's see it. We have UK, then there is France, this is Belgium, then Netherlands, Germany, this is Norway, and obviously this one, Denmark. So the capital of Netherlands is Amsterdam. Moving towards Latvia. India has operationalized a new resident mission in Latvia. Latvia is one of the members of EU and NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, located in Eastern Europe, northeastern Europe. The maritime boundaries are with Baltic Sea and the Gulf of Riga. Then the Sittwe port in Myanmar, our neighbor. India has secured the right to operate its second overseas port, basically in order to enhance the connectivity between Kolkata and Mizoram. So, like we are planning the sea route till here, then we have the Kaladan River, which will then take us to this Paleva region, and then we will enter Mizoram. So it's like reducing the distance between Indian mainland and northeast. Otherwise, we would have to cross the Bangladesh borders, or we would just go from here. And this is a very longer route. So this project is done in order to enhance the connectivity for northeast. So this you could see is the Sittwe region. Right here, here we have the Rakhine state. Then this is the Kaladan river flowing. This is the Zorin-Pui border crossing between Mizoram and Myanmar. The capital of Myanmar here is Naypyidaw. So India has secured the right to operate its second overseas port, Sittwe. Sittwe is located in the Galdan River in the Rakhine state. Opportunities for India's northeast. Saint Martin's Island in Bangladesh. So, like the US wanted to establish a military base on Saint Martin's Island. There was a news following the uh, coup in Bangladesh. There were some government tensions, and the then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was overthrown, and now Mohammed Yunus is the governmental head. It's a small coral island in the northeastern part of the Bay of Bengal. In 1974, Myanmar and Bangladesh agreed that the island would belong to Bangladesh, the St. Martin's Island. Then the Guam Island, here in the Pacific Ocean. India's INS Shivalik has visited Guam, an island territory of the United States. The largest and southernmost island in the Mariana Islands chain, situated in the North Pacific Ocean. So this India's INS Shivalik has visited the Guam Islands. Then the Seine River basically flows in France. So like if you might have seen Emily in Paris, the guy, I don't remember his name actually, the main character, the lead protagonist, love interest, Emily's love interest was from Normandy. So that is why I remember most of the locations of France from Normandy. I remember Nebraska in United States of America from The Big Bang Theory. So these channels are also like these TV shows are also somewhat knowledgeable. Anyways, The Paris mayor took a pre-Olympic step to prove the Seine River is clean. So a political move. It's a France's second largest, no, second longest river after the Loire. So the Seine River was in use. Then Lake Turkana of Africa. It has a high fishing potential. It is between Kenya. It is like in the midst of Kenya. There's a high fish potential led by the UNESCO. There was a comprehensive survey led by UNESCO and the World Food Programme, and they found out that there is a high fish potential in Lake Turkana, situated on the northwestern Kenya and southwestern Ethiopia. Over here, largest permanent. The significance is Asia's fourth largest lake and the largest permanent desert and alkaline lake in the world. Permanent desert and alkaline lake. Then Mount Kilimanjaro, also in Africa. The contest is the Ministry of Defence has unfurled the Indian national flag atop Uhuru summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. It is located in the country of Tanzania in Africa. It is the highest peak of Africa and it is the world's largest freestanding mountain range in the world, meaning it is not a part of any mountain range. It is just a peak, a unilateral peak. Then the type is a stratovolcano made of ash, lava and rocks. Stratovolcano, as it layer by layer, it is stratified. That is why it is called a stratovolcano. This right here is Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Then moving towards Lipu Lake. This we have read many times. This is a bone of contention between Nepal and India. So basically, it is the context is Nepal and India. There have been different interpretations of the Treaty of Sugauli, and Treaty of Sugauli basically during the British time demarcated the boundary between Nepal and India, and the contention is on the origin of the Kali or Sharda River. So, according to the Treaty of Sugauli, the Sharda River marks the boundary between India and Nepal. So here India considers uh, Limpiadhura as territory, whereas Nepal doesn't. So Indian traders are demanding resumption of the border trades with China through the Lipu Lake Pass, and is located in the Uttarakhand state, the Pithoragarh district, major part of the Kumaon region in the Kali Valley, Kali or the Sharda River. Lipu Lake Pass significantly reduces travel time for the Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage. So this is the region. Limpiadhura right here at the north, then Kalapani and Lipu Lake. In the Suez Canal route, this right here is the Suez Canal route. India's full exports to Europe shifted from Suez Canal to the Cape of Good Hope. So, like traversing the full of Africa. Suez Canal connects the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. It is the shortest maritime route between Asia and Europe. So, it is an artificial canal. So, with this, we have come to an end on a discussion on the second unit of the International Relations PT365. I'll see you guys in the next video where we complete the remaining 30 pages. And till then, see ya. Bye. Just 15 days, sorry, just 14 days left for the examination. Anyways, thank you for watching.